Peace to your feet, we bringing the news. Saying facts, stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the streets to the world, get the real, no cap. Breaking headlines, put the truth on the map.
Yo, fast with the facts, we don't play no games. Reporting what's real, we ain't chasing fame. Call Peace TV, stay locked, stay tuned. If you want the real talk, we deliver it soon. Call Peace TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confused. From the
streets to the world, get the real, no cap. Breaking headlines, put the truth on the map. Fast with the facts, we don't play no games. Reporting what's real, we ain't chasing fame. Call Peace TV, stay locked, stay tuned.
Hey y'all, hey, back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about a 16-year-old by the name of Zariah Dodd, who went missing from a group home that she was living in. She's 16 and pregnant. She told some staff member that she was going to take a walk and never has been seen from again. They found her unalive in a park, her and her unborn baby. Now, this story gets crazy because she was at one point living with a foster mom and got taken back and put back in the home. This young girl, eventually it's going to come out that this young girl was pregnant by a 36-year-old man who was manipulating her. Told her that if she told anybody anything about what was happening with her and this 18-year-old boy, it was two of them, 36 and an 18-year-old, that they would unalive her. And guess what? They kept their word because she ended up unalived. She was going through things in her head with wanting to speak out about what was being done to her. And I believe that this is why they took her out. This is a sad, sad story. Also, this Sunshine residential home for teens has also been under investigation for things. So they were getting money illegally out of that place. And that's going to end up coming out in this investigation as well, I believe. But the fact that she was being taken advantage of by these two guys that were the 36-year-old pretending to be 20, the 18-year-old pretending to be a kid, is crazy. But let's jump into her story.
Murder of a pregnant teenager. Her body was found last month at a Phoenix park, and still no arrests have been made.
We were the first to bring you this case of Zariah Dodd, and just a short time ago, following our exclusive report last night, Phoenix police finally confirming that it was Zariah and her unborn baby found murdered at the park. Tonight, Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum is speaking to the victim's father.
Phoenix police remain tight-lipped with no real updates, calling this an ongoing investigation. But how did Zariah Dodd get from a group home in Surprise to a park in Maryvale where she was found shot and killed?
Surprised that y'all called me and my family down here to do this, but ain't no faith there.
A struggle for Silquane Bernard to stay optimistic, hoping his daughter gets justice. The pregnant teen found dead with a gunshot wound at Maryview Park in Phoenix on the morning of July 5th.
I don't believe she was murdered there. I believe she was dumped there.
In Phoenix PD's media advisory, officials list the victim as an adult woman.
They had stated it was a 20-year-old woman found in the park. They never even mentioned anything about pregnancy. It was just a 20-year-old woman found in a park.
But the case report number provided to Fox 10 by Phoenix PD matches the same case number that Zariah's family has been given. Again, she was 16 years old and left Sunrise Residential in Surprise at 8 p.m. on July 4th, reportedly telling staff she was going for a walk. The group home called police just after midnight of the 5th. Her body discovered later that morning in Phoenix.
All we've ever wanted to do is get Zariah, raise her, and make sure she was a productive citizen out here.
Her uncle Eric Polk says her family tried to get custody of her after she had lived in numerous group homes, but were met with challenges by the Department of Child Safety.
Are my glasses straight?
I'm glad you guys are picking up the story because, again, this is her story, but this is many other stories that are happening to these kids and these teens that are not being watched after. How in the hell does a 16-year-old get pregnant in the system?
A spokesperson for Sunshine Residential Homes says law enforcement and DCS were notified promptly once she didn't come back. Zariah's family feels this could have been prevented. Questions remain: who was she last with? Why was she shot and killed? And who abandoned her body at a park?
They took a beautiful soul away. They took someone who had survivor mentality and wasn't really capable and able to really be a kid.
Zariah and her unborn child Zaloni will be laid to rest on Saturday. If you have
to get an update now on a shooting that happened earlier this month in a park in West Phoenix. Police have identified the woman, the victim, as 16-year-old Zariah Dodd, adding that she was 22 weeks pregnant when she was killed. She was found July 5th near 59th Avenue in Osborne. Phoenix police haven't really shared a lot of information about a suspect, adding that this is still an open investigation.
Now, they have ultimately arrested the two guys that I told you about in the beginning of this video. They have arrested the two men. This is something that they do on a regular basis, grooming young girls. Shout out to Prophet P.I. For this video that he did. And then we're going to jump into the news clipping of them saying that they arrested the two men. Zariah had reached out to this other young lady's mom that ended up manipulated as well, and speaking to her about it and letting her know that she knows those two guys and they did the same thing to her. This is why they ultimately took Zariah out. On top of her ended up being pregnant, I believe, in my opinion. This is a sad situation. Something should have been done about this. Let's get into it.
Story regarding Anaya Morris. She's a teenager, she's a child, and she was being manipulated by two grown men. And I put a post up earlier regarding the police in Phoenix, Arizona, finding a woman, they said a woman, that's what they had in the report, found unalived in a park. This happened in West Phoenix on July the 5th, just before 6 a.m., and this happened near 59th Avenue and Thomas Road. Now, at the time, they didn't know how old she was. They just said the woman was pronounced deceased at the scene, and they were working to identify her, but also find out what happened to her. And we know who did it. And the reason these two cases are tied together because of the two menaces, the two monsters, the two sick people in the head that are tied to this. The first one is Jarrell E. Davis, and the second one is Jacree James. Now, currently, Jarrell Davis is locked up right now. Jacree James is not. I think he's still on the run. But they have been out here doing this, manipulating these young children, these young girls, for a long time. Now, the young lady they found in Phoenix, Arizona, in that park, her name was Zariah Finley Dodd, and she was also pregnant, and she named that baby Zaloni. Zariah was only 16 years old. She lived in a girl's home because she was a teen and she was pregnant. Now, what happened is Zariah saw the story last year regarding Anaya. She saw my story, and she saw Anaya's mother's story also. But she responded to that by reaching out to Anaya's mother and then telling her some things and how it was connected and how she knew Jarrell and everything that he's done to her, but also Jacree also. Now, the sad thing in this whole thing, and I'm going to bring you more later on, I just want to give you the gist of it, but the sad thing in this whole thing, when she reached out, she said that she wants to be able to talk and be brave enough to tell her story. But she wanted to be careful because Jarrell and Jacree made a promise to her that if she said anything, that they were going to take her out. And unfortunately, he kept his promise to try to get rid of evidence because she was pregnant with his child. And yes, there's a lot of evidence that between the police, us, and a lot of other people have to prove this point. This monster was born in 1988, but out here pretending to be 20 years old. Jacree, he's out here pretending to be a teenager, but they still manipulated these young girls. Mothers and fathers, keep an eye on your children. Look at their phones, look at everything. But I'm going to bring you more as soon as I get more.
To the newsroom, two people have been arrested in the murder of a pregnant teenager at a Valley Park.
Yeah, the suspects in the of 16-year-old Zariah Dodd have now been identified as 18-year-old Jacree James Gillette and 36-year-old Jarrell Davis. Davis was the father of Zariah's unborn child. He's been booked for murder and sexual misconduct with a minor. The other suspect, James Gillette, was booked for murder. The investigation also revealed that the two suspects conspired to commit and carried out the homicide. Now, Zariah was murdered back on July 5th. Her body was found at Maryview Park just hours after she went missing from a group home in Surprise. Her biological family had tried to get her out of DCS custody, and they're upset that more wasn't done to protect her and her unborn child. A vigil for Zariah will happen tonight at Maryview Park. The funeral is set for Saturday. You can count on Fox 10 to continue to update you as this case develops all throughout the day, on air, of course, and on our website, fox10phoenix.com.
This is just so sad, and it continues to show us every day how the state does not care about our kids. They fail these kids time after time after time again. It's no way that this young girl should have came up pregnant, being in their custody by a 36-year-old man, and then ultimately unalive. Rest in peace to her and her unborn, and I pray that they get justice and them two goes under the jail. This is unacceptable how these grown men prey on babies. These are babies. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm out. Bye.
TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confuse. From the streets to the world, keep it real, no cap. You're breaking headlines, put the truth on the map. Call it peace. TV, we bringing the news. Facts stay sharp, yeah, we never confuse.